Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. It is your girl, Dr. Shanita Williams, here with another Feedback Friday, hoping to share a nugget that will bless you and you can take into your day-to-day. So what are we going to talk about today? We are first going to focus on a stat that I saw that was really surprising. Did you know that 40% of American workers report feeling physically and emotionally isolated? Let me say that again. 40% of Americans have reported that they feel physically and emotionally isolated at work. Now, this is prior to COVID, so I can only imagine what it is now. But when you think about that stat, it really takes your breath away. And why does it take my breath away? Well, the fact is, if you feel isolated, the opposite of isolation is community. And everybody as of late has been talking about a sense of community and building a sense of community, especially after the year we've had. We've been talking about rebuilding and creating a sense of a community where everyone feels respected and honored for who they are. Now, this made me pause and really think about, well, what does it mean to be in community? And so when I looked up community, I actually found that there are two dimensions of community that we really need to think about. When you look at the first dimension of community, there's the structure of community. That's when it's a group of people in proximity to one another, whether it's your neighborhood or maybe a people who are geographically co-located somewhere. But really, it's the structure of community. So it can be things like you belong to a women's group, or you belong to the track team, or you are a member of the glee club at your school. The structure of community is where people come together. Now, here's the thing. Why is it that 40% of U.S. workers report being emotionally and physically isolated when they are in these big communities, right? I mean, you have people who are sitting in their own homes who are also reporting feeling isolated, and they have people around them. So there's another dimension of community that I think we need to talk about. We spend so much time focused on the structure of community, which is very transactional. We go into our schools and out of our schools. We go into work and out of work. We go to the doctor and from the doctor. We go to the store and back. While those are structures of community and we can look around us and see tons of people, I think I know why we still feel isolated. Because in those structures, it's transactional. What we're missing in community is really the experience of community. So it's one thing to be in a community structure, but it's another thing to be in community. Do you know what that means? Does that resonate with anyone? It's one thing to walk into a building and say, I'm in a community. It's another to walk into a building and look around at the people and say, I feel like I am in community. Now, being in community is really about an experience. It's about the relational aspect of community building. So when we say that we are trying to build a sense of community, it is not about adding another building on the street. It is not about adding a place for people to go and hang out, because I can walk into a building to hang out, and if no one wants to hang around me, if no one wants to get to know me, then I don't get to experience a sense of community. Does that make sense? So I think it's important that we really pause and think about the power of community and why, when people are belonging to all these buildings, we have so much buildings coming up and around us, and people are building so much. 40% of people are reporting that they feel isolated emotionally and physically, and they are in buildings all around us. So what role does feedback play in this? What can we learn from feedback that can help us think about the structure of community and the experience of community to be able to help move us to a place where we are connected and we belong? Because here's the thing, if you want to make systemic change, we can no longer focus on being in a structure of community and belonging to groups. It's one thing, and it's important to belong to a group, but it's another thing to actually feel seen, valued, heard, and feel as though you are needed in that community. Right? And so what role does feedback play in all of this? Well, I believe If you are trying to grow your organization and you are focused on the structure of community, you try to give feedback, that feedback will go nowhere because you don't have a relationship. And so if you truly want to grow your organization, if you truly want to grow your children, if you truly want to grow your relationship with your friends, if you truly want to grow as an individual, you have to be in community with people. And that means I have to trust you. I need to know a little bit more about you. And you need to know a little bit more about me. And that means I have to be willing to be vulnerable. I have to be willing to my mom said to me growing up, if you want friends, you got to show yourself friendly. We can't walk into organizations and have relationships that are just built on transaction. We have to give each other feedback. And so here's my suggestion. If you want to move your organization, or if you want to move a structure, say you belong to a structure, a group, okay, of people who are in proximity to one another with the same identity, we have to give feedback. And that's how you start to build that relationship. But here's how you do it. If you don't have a relationship and you're trying to give someone constructive feedback, that's going to fall on deaf ears. And I'm going to tell you, it's probably going to cause a larger divide in your community. So I want you to focus on the good. I want you to tell people, wow, I love your blouse today. Where did you get that from? Or what a great presentation. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself to you. I just want you to know I was really impressed by what you said on XYZ. Pausing when you're in the store and turning around and saying, wow, what's that smell? I love that. I love that perfume. Where did you buy it? If we are going to move from being in the structure of community to the experience of community, we have to have conversations. We have to be willing to give people positive feedback and highlight the good. And when I highlight the good in you, you are more likely to turn around and highlight the good in me. And that's how we start building that relationship. How many times have you said to someone, "Ooh, I love your shirt," and they go, "Oh my God, thank you. Well, I love your shirt." That's happened before, right? See, there's a reciprocal nature, because when you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it simply says right in there, that third ladder, right after safety, right after feeling a sense of safety, we actually want to belong. Belonging is a human and innate need. So we're looking for people to connect relationally. We need that in our lives to thrive. And so the second you give me a compliment, I'm going to give you one back. And we are going to do this over and over and over. And we're going to build a relationship. And we're going to experience community. Now, I know some people say, well, you know what? The experience of community takes time. I hear people say that, oh, it's going to take a long time for our organization to build a sense of community, or it's going to take a long time for our team to feel a sense of community, or it's going to take a long time for me, I just joined this organization, or I just met this person. It's going to take a long time. But here's the thing. It doesn't take that long. Because in the moment, if you just lean into someone and not just say, "How are you?" but say, "How are you?" you're going to connect with that person and start fostering that community immediately. But that means we have to be conscious. We have to be aware. We have to be present. And we have to be willing to step out of our comfort zone. And again, like my mom said, if you want friends, you got to show yourself friendly, which means if you want somebody to be in relationship with you and community with you, you have to extend community. And that means leaning in and asking, "How are you today?" and really mean it. By complimenting someone authentically from your heart. Not that transactional type of stuff, the real stuff. And you'll start fostering that sense of community. So I hope you found this helpful. Give positive feedback. If you want to spark that experience of community, lean in, and I'm sure you transform the structure of community to an experience of community and belonging. I hope you found this valuable. If you want to learn more about the type of work that I do, you can actually buy my book, The Feedback Mentality. It's your girl, Dr. Shanita Williams. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and thanks for joining. Talk to you soon.